G'day, Marty Ware here from youtube.com/Marty's Garden and the potted vegetable garden. Today we've got a bit of a different sort of video for you. I like to come up with unique stuff, and I'm here visiting a guy named Paul from Green Millennium Landscaping, and he used to own a website. He used to own a business where he would propagate material. So basically you were a wholesale
propagation nursery.
Wholesale propagation nursery. So we're on the bandwagon and we're right in the right place here to actually get this video underway. So we're going to show you how to do, was it soft tip cuttings we're going to do today? Excellent. So yeah, Paul's the man, and he's got a lot more knowledge in it than this and had a lot more success with soft tip cuttings. So we're going to get into the video now, so we'll see you on the inside.
The first thing we need to take into account is the medium that the propagation goes into. My personal choice is 50-50 peat and perlite. Now this peat is core fibre peat, which comes off the husks of the coconut plant, and there we have perlite, which is exploded clay soil which has good aeration properties. The second step is the environment that the propagation is to go in. The most important thing out of this environment is the humidity. You have to keep the humidity up to the cuttings. So we're going through some processes to keep that environment constant for the plants to survive. Temperature is also an important part of the environment that the propagation goes into. You have to have the right temperature or the optimum temperature. The best time on the Gold Coast is around October to April.
So if other people are in other countries and things like that, what season would that be?
Well, we're based on the fact that this is a subtropical climate, so anywhere, if we're in the US, anywhere from Florida up to and Los Angeles up to San Francisco or North Carolina.
Okay, and what about people in temperate climates? What time would be the best year for them to propagate?
Definitely in summer. I've helped a few people in colder climates, house them inside the house, and they've had success, and a few years later they've actually showed me the plants that they grew. And another important part of the temperature is airflow. This is something I found out over time, that if the propagation has good airflow, it survives better and it doesn't get as much transplant shock when you do take it out of the propagation into bigger pots. So you should always give it a few hours of clean air per day so that air doesn't get stale in the environment that it's in.
Okay, what else about with airflow, like for diseases and funguses and things like that? Is that beneficial?
Well, that's what it does. It shields it against diseases, so they're open to diseases while they're in the propagation stage. So if they survive that while they're in propagation stage, then they'll be much better off when they get into the pots.
So you would say, like say for example, if someone had like a mini greenhouse or whatever, like the ones that you can buy in the hardware or something, they would possibly need to have some ventilation, because those ones close up with a zip door, so they'd have the bottom open or the top open, or
yeah, well, like open it up during the day, let the air flow into it during the day, and at night time when the temperature drops a little, close it up and leave that heat settle for the night. What do you need to do your propagation? Well, the first thing is a good pair of cutters. These are often called flower pickers and work like this.
Can you bring them a bit closer to the camera so people can see? Yeah, that's great. Thanks, mate.
Next thing is your pots that you put them into. This is what I usually use. Fits into a seedling flat. Alternatively, the flower punnets that you buy in the hardware can fit into this space when you fill it all up. You put your propagation medium into this and leave it there until the propagation has struck roots. Next step is after your cuttings have struck roots. This is a good size to put them into, the smallest size.
How many inches would that be?
That is a something inch pot.
5.
It's a
what, there's 2.5 centimetres to an inch.
100 ml pot.
Okay.
That's the best size. You can put it into anything up to this size, 140mm pot, which is 6 inch, I believe.
Yep. In some regards, you might even do it in the small black one first and then transplant it into that red one later, eh?
Better choice to go from this to this, but never straight into the garden because they're very touchy at that stage. Also, what is really good for the cuttings is the hormone.
Okay, can you bring it in closer for us to look, please?
I often use hormone, which is the difference between success and failure of my cuttings because I was doing it commercially. There are a variety of different solutions out there. Commonly, Rutex is available on hardware shelves in Australia. It's a mixture of IBA and IAA.
Okay, so if other people are looking for this internationally, they need a good mixture of what did you just say then?
It's IBA, Indole.
Just hold it up so we can see it a bit better. Not sure if that's going to focus in on it yet, but if you can just tell us as well. So the active constituents are
Indole, butyric acid, and naphthylacetic acid. So they're the two important ingredients in hormones. If they've got that, that will make the roots strike quicker. How much do you need of this? Well, you probably use about 5 milliliters, which is that much, into a solution of about a cup of water. Now we're going around the garden to find some propagation material that we're going to use.
Let's go.
Yep. You're not filming me, are you?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to find anything.
Well, we need some lavender for the community garden, so that would be great. And lavender strikes really easily.
Yeah, it does. We're in a time of drought, so these are a bit tougher. Soft tip cuttings should bend between your hands. This Maria here is very difficult to strike cuttings of. But what you need to take into account is that it can bend between your two fingers like that without breaking.
Okay, so that means it's soft tip.
Yes. Any softer than this, it's better to cut it off. Like I said, this lavender is tougher because it's a dry moment at the moment, but we'll take off something like that. It's been constantly in flower, take out the flowers. That's a good soft tip cutting. Choose another one and another one. Chop the flower out of it like that. Another good example here in the garden is this Duranta Sheena's Gold. This whole tip has been grown vigorously and we're going to cut it about here, but I'll show you now. This tip here is too soft, so we cut that out. That's not useful for us. We found a good geranium tip here, so we're going to chop that off about here.
Why would you say that's a good geranium tip?
Because it's green all the way up from the start to there. This rosemary is also a good plant to take cuttings off and strikes very easily. I've chosen this one because it feels like it's bending in my fingers. So chop that off here and here. Now we're preparing the core fibre peat. Here's some water and here's the core fibre peat.
So this is the peat moss, isn't it? Which is cocoa peat, which is a renewable resource. You're going to mix this with the perlite now?
Yep. So equal parts.
50-50, is that right?
Yep.
Correct? So you just throw the, as you saw in the video, you throw the whole block into a bucket of water, follow the instructions, mix it up so it's nice. There's a block, that's what a block looks like there. We've shown it at the beginning of the video, and I'm going to do a 50-50 mix.
put it in like this and then compress it once it's full.
So what are we doing here, mate?
Watering the
dog. Get it, get it.
Make sure you get it in properly. Bad luck, dog. Now we're doing the actual propagation. Our first choice is the geranium that we cut. We make sure we get rid of any excess leaves. More leaves create more evaporation. That's enough. Cut it down to a uniform height that's going to be the same as the rest of them. Dip it in the hormone and then place it in the propagation medium. Press it down firmly so it doesn't get blasted out by the water.
Okay, so you didn't use the dipstick to make the hole first, you're just pressing it straight down in?
Well, that's pretty soft and that stem is pretty hard, so
okay,
that can do it.
Yeah, right. If you were in like a more gravelly solution, you'd probably have to use a dipstick, yeah?
Definitely. If you're using the pure sand, coarse river sand, you'd need a dipstick to put it in. Here's the lavender. Strip the leaves at the bottom carefully. Don't rip too much. Dip it in the hormone and place it in the propagation tray. Press around it firmly. Here's a rosemary. Nothing needs to be done on this, maybe just the size. Strip the leaves, the height, uniform, dip it in the solution, into the propagation tray. This is our Geranthus Sheena's Gold. On certain plants, like this one for example, every single node, that's a node between these leaves and these leaves, they can be used for an individual cutting. So we cut that there. Whoops, that flew away. We'll angle it down so it doesn't go too far. Again, that one, that one, that one. These are all good for cuttings. So there you go, there's our finished tray. Important things to take into account again are the medium, the environment, the materials, the pots, the cutters and the solution, and especially the propagation material. Make sure it's soft but not too soft. Each individual cutting has its own time frame that it will strike in, and they will all produce in good weather in summer between 1 to 3 weeks. So hope you enjoy your cuttings, what you've learnt from us today.
Thank you, Paul, for showing us how to put this together, and hopefully some people will follow your advice and get more success in striking their cuttings at home.
Yep.
Alright, and if you're in Australia and you want to get your garden done or you need some landscaping advice, just contact greenmillennium.com and ask for Paul. Alright, have a good day and we'll see you maybe in another video and sometime in the future.
See you later.
Bye.